Warrior's Gate, the fifth serial of Doctor Who's 18th season, first broadcast in 4 parts from the 3rd to the 24th of January 1981. This was the last piece of the E-Space trilogy that started with Full Circle and continued with State of Decay. In this particular story, the fourth Doctor, played by Tom Baker, and his companions, Romana, played by Lalla Ward, K9, voiced by John Leeson, and Adric, played by Matthew Waterhouse, end up in a mysterious white null space. This is a space in between E-Space and N-Space that they have to try and find a way to escape from. While there, they find a group of humanoids on board another spaceship, with the leader of them being Rorvik, played by Clifford Rose, and they are using a race of creatures known as the Tharals, which include the likes of Birok, played by David Weston, and Laszlo, played by Jeremy Gittins. And as the Doctor tries to find a way for them to get out of the white space and back to N space, they end up encountering a lot, including, as I mentioned, the humanoids, the Tharals, and a set of Gundam robots. Now, this particular story, I'll admit, it's not necessarily the best, but I personally think it's alright. I mean, for the overall E-Space trilogy, I'd probably rank Full Circle down the bottom, Warrior's Gate in the middle, and then I'd probably say State of Decay is best, at least just from my opinion. But it does have some quite funny moments, like K9 ends up getting partially damaged by the Time Winds, which means he can't maintain long-term memory. And there is a part that I think is quite funny, where he's following the humanoids back to their spaceship. They go through the doors with them, and then one of them just comes and chucks him out, which I found pretty funny. I mean, yeah, that's just me. Now, this was, of course, the last appearance of Romana and the last regular appearance of K9, as Romana would end up leaving, and K9 would... This would be the last regular appearance of him until K9 and Company later that year, and School Reunion in 2006. But, you know what, for a departure episode, I don't know if it's the best, but I've certainly seen worse. I mean, for me, from Classic Who, the one that I personally felt was really the weakest companion departure exit story was the previous companion Leela in The Invasion of Time, because I just felt when she left that it just seemed like she had fallen in love with another Gallifreyan, and I just thought, when? Just like, you barely shared 2 words together, and now you're suddenly a couple. It, to me, doesn't really make sense. But Romana, they did actually manage to build her exit fairly well. Like, in Full Circle, it was stated that they were going back to Gallifrey, and it's clear that Romana was a little reluctant to do this, because, as the Doctor mentioned, she had only been brought in to help with the Key to Time, and now, having seen everything out there travelling with the Doctor, it does make sense that she would be reluctant to go back. So, when her moment of leaving actually comes, it does feel earned. Like, having travelled through this mysterious white null space, she decides to stay behind with Birok, Laszlo, and the other Tharals to kind of help them out. Like, the Tharals had originally been navigators to the humanoids, and now with the humanoids having left the space and been killed in it, she is kind of staying behind to help the Tharals in the white space. And you know what? It kind of makes sense. And even though K9 staying with her is a little bit odd, as the Doctor says to her, yeah, he'll look after her. And I do think that's nice. They did manage to build up Romana's exit fairly well. Also, this is apparently one of the cheapest stories that Doctor Who ever did, because for almost the entire episode, the only kind of set they had was a green screen, effectively. Just a white space sitting in the middle of nowhere with a few practical sets built in, such as the Warrior's Gate itself, a banquet hall, and the spaceship made of Dwarf Star. I think it works well. So overall, I'd say Warrior's Gate isn't necessarily the strongest classic Doctor Who serial, but it was a nice way to end off the Space trilogy. Now, what will be my next classic story? Well, once again, I have a rough idea, but we'll see if I follow through with it. Anyway, until next time, that is my quick little review of Warrior's Gate. See ya.